Hello and welcome back, YouTube. It's still late Friday night, early Easter morning, Sunday, April 9th, 4:04 a.m. And I'm still sitting in the same spot where I overheated, idling my car and eating my Whataburger and telling the story of how I got my first iPhone, how I lost my first iPhone, and how I got it back and how it was completely unusable and has been ever since. Although it should be usable, I just don't really know how to go about using it. Maybe I can do a reset on it at home if I just Google how to do it. I do know that phone is in my Apple account. Like when you've got an Apple, if anybody who owns iPhone, like you have an apple.com account where you've got your iCloud and where all your restore data and stuff goes, and obviously your what do you call it, your Apple App Store, and it's listed as one of my devices. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was able to like restore my next phone that I got, my second, my second iPhone 6s Plus that was a factory refurbished one that I got with a full warranty and insurance from in the box from Cricket. I was able to restore everything from that. As far as like my background, just all my apps and settings and data and everything. Like it was just, once I did the restore from that, like from its screen that it booted to, it was as if I still had my phone. In fact, if I remember right, I didn't even have to log into stuff. I think stuff just worked, which when I did that with my iPhone 7 Plus, like I still had to log into stuff, and a lot of stuff I couldn't remember passwords to. There's still things I haven't been able to log into on my iPhone 7 Plus, that the one that was stolen from me when I was mugged in front of Bullocks, about a half mile to the north of here. There's still some apps on that I haven't been able to log into since because of that. So. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I did have to log into my stuff. I don't know. It just seemed like everything. It seemed like when I did the restore, it was just as if I had my previous phone, except for it was newer and cleaner, and not stolen. But yeah. So I restored it, from the iCloud or the Apple whatever website, and that is still listed as one of my devices. So I don't know. Well, maybe if I do some Googling, I can figure out how to do it myself. Oh, so my temperature gauge is down to its normal spot. It's a little low on gas. Hopefully the car starts. Let's find out. Started right up. Well, I'm sure that wasn't particularly good for it, but at least I realized it was getting hot. I didn't drive it like that, and I shut it down before it. Just quit beeping. I shut it down before it gave me any issues. Well, any issues that I haven't been having. Of course, install as soon as I get to the first stop sign. That's the new normal for this car. So had some fun. I'm using the term fun very loosely, but stop beeping already. Fuck. Had an interesting and mostly enjoyable time. I do wish I'd have wore a hoodie and socks and shoes. I'm wearing my flip-flops and my t-shirt because it was super warm yesterday, and it's a little chilly right now. It's just a little colder than I couldn't stay out too long just because I was getting kind of cold, which makes you wonder how these women that are out here working the streets do it while damn near naked, because I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt and I was pretty cold. But I did see 5 women out working it. Now I think 2 of them chose, and there's one of them right there in front of me. I don't know if y'all can see her. She's got a hell of a gorgeous body on her. Hot outfit. Of course, it screams stripper or hooker, and that's what that is. But she's acting like she's on her phone, but I don't think she really is. I think women just do that so as like a self-defense mechanism, so it looks like they have a reason to be standing there. She didn't even approach me. Oh, there's another one crossing. No, oh no, that's a random homeless dude crossing the street. So I just walked up the west side of the road, almost to Bethany, and then it occurred to me that, yeah, as if I'm not having a bad enough night, it'd be an even worse night if somebody broke into my car. So I should get back to my car, and the car was fine, But I did notice as I was kind of following behind these two hookers that were walking up the sidewalk directly in front of me, and just thoroughly enjoying the view, because I mean they both had amazing asses, and they were both completely on display, so I'm enjoying the display. Of course, they're not trying to talk to a person who's walking. They're waiting to be picked up by a person in a vehicle. So yeah, none of them engaged me in conversation. I didn't try to engage any of them in conversation, but I noticed as I was following them, the one quickly scooted to the other side of the road, and then the other one followed her. So I think just me being a pedestrian on the street was enough to make them uneasy, which is a them problem and not a me problem. I have no ill intent to any streetwalkers. I'd kind of like to get to know some. Just saying. I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. It's 4:10 in the morning. My friend Christy had been texting me since about 1 in the morning. And she texted me on this phone, so I didn't get her text, because of course I usually don't see those. I don't know. Usually I feel like I was getting pushed through messages when I'd be shooting video, but apparently some came in while I was shooting that last video, and I didn't. Maybe I didn't see them because I obviously if I'm driving, my eyes are on the road as opposed to on the phone. But anyway, the last one she had said was along the lines of, I said that I wish I had somewhere to go, that that I wish there was somewhere fun to go. I wish that I was either working or had somewhere fun to go. And she's like, it's 3 a.m., just go home. Anyway, I was walking up 27th Avenue, kind of enjoying the view of the nearly naked working girls. I texted her back. I said, it's too lonely at home, which is... That's the deal. I mean, when I'm awake my head's in a place like this at night, I mean, just all the voices are telling me it's time to check out. That's what's going on in my head. That it's the voices are telling me that it's just time to escape the loneliness, and I don't want to do that. I don't think that's a good solution. But that's what's going through my head, and it's not a good thing at all. So yeah, no, I really don't want to be home alone right now. I mean, not like I'm in a really great place right now, but at least, yeah, I'm in the comfort of my car. I don't dare leave it idling, because I'm sure it'll overheat again. Did it once, it'll do it again. And then just another thing for Rob to check out. I really don't have enough money to have Rob start fixing anything until next Friday. So I've got to limp this car along for another week. So there were what looked to be 2 homeless people in front of the store there on my left. But I think me pulling into here was enough for them to skedaddle. I was kind of thinking they'd make for some good people watching, but they're gone. I saw what looked like a streetwalker walking down the street just north of here. Sorry the video is so bad. This phone just is worthless in low light situations. But I thought I saw one. Didn't see her very close. She's a big one. As opposed to the 5 that I saw as I was walking after my car overheated. They were all just... I mean, they all straight up looked like models. They really did. Now, if they were that cute in the face, I don't know. I never really got to see their faces that close. It's dark out. But, I mean, they're dressed up they're dressed up like adult entertainers, and they all seem to have absolutely amazing bodies. So, that's, to be honest, that's kind of what I want in my life right now. That's the big unobtainable, Oh yeah, no, here she comes. She might just be a homeless person though. She's big. But it's hard to say. Maybe she's trying to work it too. Certainly showing a lot of leg. More leg than I think I can deal with. I always wonder like that. And I often critique Lizard Gang, Lizard Hunter, same YouTube channel, and some of the other channels that like to roll up and down 27th Avenue and show footage. Some of them saying, oh, look at the hookers, and some are the theme of like homeless in Phoenix, the homeless in Phoenix stuff. And I always say, it's like, well, just because they're a pedestrian doesn't necessarily mean they're homeless. I mean, I was just walking up and down 27th Avenue, and it's just because I'm restless at night, and my car overheated, and I didn't feel like just sitting in my car, so I was walking. It doesn't make me homeless. Doesn't make me homeless. I got 2 smartphones in my pocket and a pocket full of credit cards. Some of them have funds available on them, just got the keys to a home across town in a much nicer part of town. I'm not homeless. I have some guy approaching me. I hope he keeps on walking because he looks like trouble. Oh, shit. Yo? No. 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 Well, if I was looking for weed or E, that was the guy right there to sell it to me. It's kind of interesting. I was thinking as I was walking about how I've been talking a lot about Waymo and their taxi service with self-driving cars, but the way it works is with an app. You need to. It's not an exact replacement for taxis. I mean, I guess it is for normal people who use taxis in the normal way. But as a person who was a cab driver for 19 years, I tell you, that's only a certain percentage of people in taxis. The app requires that you put in a pickup address and a destination address, and it charges your credit card, and it drives you from point A to point B, at which point you have to get out. I mean, even with an Uber driver, I've found just trying to communicate with the person to say, hey, I need to go there, and I need to go there. I need the address. I need the address. I need the address. I've gotten out of Ubers because they couldn't relate with the fact that I was telling them where I was going, but I couldn't give them an actual address. Like, if they couldn't hang with that, I couldn't hang with them. I'm talking to you as a human. I'm telling you where to go. Like, if you can't sort that out, I need a real cab driver. You suck. But one thing I really miss, and was definitely a big part of me being a nighttime cab driver in Phoenix and even in Tucson, is the people that are the night people. Some people get in a cab, they're looking for drugs. Some people get in a cab, they're looking for hookers. And, they have a location I'm picking them up at. Presumably it came into dispatch with an address, although it's very possible it didn't. I mean, as a cab dispatcher, we often took calls that would be, hey, 7-Eleven, 27th Avenue, and 27th Avenue and Indian School, near the payphones. That would be all the information that was on the call, and that's all the information that should be needed for a real human cab driver to find it. Obviously, that's not going to work with Waymo, and I often pick people up that did not have a specific direction, a destination. Now, I had ways of dealing with that. One time, I let my guard down. I got stabbed because of it. Whoops. But the funny ones, the ones that I remember, and I kind of always got a kick out of it, were the ones that were obviously going to score drugs from street dealers. Because I quickly learned, like, what parts of town the street dealers were on, were at, and that's back when crack was the drug of choice for a lot of people. So I knew where people were going to score crack. Like, I knew that. So it'd be funny. Like, I'd pick up somebody in a not that part of town, and they a lot, like, one of the one I heard the most often is, hey, I got to go down to my friend's place and pick up my keys and then come back. Are you cool? Can you just take me down? You take me. It's just off of 24th Street and Broadway. Can you go down there and just kind of wait for me for a little bit and then bring me back? You left your keys near 24th Street and Broadway. Sure you did. And of course my answer is yes, no problem. I mean, it's money, it's work. First couple times I did those kind of runs, it was very scary. After a while, I kind of learned the routine, and I realized they're trying to be discreet. It's kind of a protection thing for me. I don't become an accessory should they get busted for trying to score a crack. But yeah, they wouldn't have a specific address of where they were going because they didn't have a specific address of where they were going. They were just going to the street where there were a bunch of people on the street selling crack. And they'd be like, yeah, go ahead, park here. I'll be right back. I just got to run into my friend's place. I'm like, okay. My thing is I always got enough. Like, once we got there, I just made it very clear. Nice truck. Sorry about your penis. Yeah, I just made it clear that meter is running. I made sure they paid me enough to get to that point. And, oh, there's the guy trying to sell me weed and E right up there in front of me, in front of the store. I made sure that I had enough. I let them know. It's like, hey, just, so you know, this is the meter's running. And it's blah, blah, blah a minute. I forget how much it was a minute, but it was kind of pricey. So, I mean, I can wait as long as, you give me enough money to cover the money on it. And generally speaking, like, the person would give me like $20. Oh, she's really cute. Really, really cute. Yeah, I'd give her like 20. I'd give them like $20. And, they'd give me like $20 or whatever. And I would sit as long as there was money on the meter. I mean, if they gave me $30, then wow, she's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't think the video really caught her. Wow, that woman is absolutely stunning. Yeah, she, I would stay till like whatever money they gave me. If they gave me a $20 bill, like once it got to about $21 on the meter, I'm gone. Someone will give me $30. And there were times where I'm thinking, because they want to make sure that they knew I had them covered for the, the ride back, which was fine, appreciated that. But there were times where it was just like they would disappear. And I felt I was kind of pretty much contractually obligated to sit there until that money ran out. So sometimes I found myself sitting in super sketch areas for quite some time and the person didn't come back. And I never ditched anybody. I always stayed until until whatever money they gave to me hit on the meter before I'd leave. But and I have people approach me in the car, just like that guy that approached me a little bit ago. Hey, are you looking? No, not looking for nothing. I'm just waiting on a passenger. Sometimes I'll walk up before they'd even have a chance to say anything to me. I just crack the window, because I did. And when that guy walked up, I cracked the window about 2 inches. I'm not giving him the opportunity to reach in my car. Ooh, we almost had a bum fight there. Oh, we got a bum fight going on. No, maybe he's just dancing. Oh, it's off the view of my camera, too. It's just right up ahead on the left underneath the convenience store. I think the absolutely gorgeous hooker got in a vehicle that was parked in the strip mall and rolled off. She's gone. She was stunning. Absolutely stunning. Definitely out of my budget. Anyway, generally speaking, really, when I'm in those areas, like when someone would walk up to me, I'd crack the window about 2 inches to be like, I'm not available. Like whatever they were, because at this point, like, hey, I'm a creature of the night selling my services too. My services is, I have a taxi. There were other times that I rolled around in really bad parts of town when I was not And then, I mean, this is a spot I used to sometimes sit at. That's why I feel comfortable sitting here right now, even though I'm in my personal car. Like, I'd sit here and I'd be in a fully marked, yellow cab or AAA cab or express cab. And and if I was available, I'd roll up and be like, hey, what's up? Or, and someone would walk up to me and be like, what's up? and sometimes it'd be like that, just somebody trying to sell me dope. But sometimes it's somebody who needed a ride. And sometimes I drove hookers around. Sometimes I drove all kinds of pretty freaky late night people. Have you ever seen the movie Taxi Driver featuring Robert De Niro? There's some solid reality of what it's like to be a cab driver in that movie. There really is. And I got stories, and I don't tell them very much. I really should. I'd probably have more viewers on this channel if I did. But yeah, I've had some really crazy adventures in the cab of people looking for hookers that really didn't know how to do it, and they're expecting that I know how to do it. I'm like, well, I know where they're at, but you got to interact with them yourself. That's not really my deal. I had one guy that went as far as to get he was paying me by the hour. He's like, well, what's your tour rate? I'm like, well, I said, I don't know, $25 an hour. I'm going to do whatever you need, $25 an hour, stand by, drive it, whatever. And sometimes I get as much as $30 or $50 an hour. It just depends on, what the time was and what all I thought was involved. But yeah, I remember this one time I picked up this guy and he was talking about, he wanted to get him some women. He said, you want me to get you a woman too? I'm like, hell yeah. And, yeah, that was pretty wild. We ended up getting and he was paying me, he prepaid me substantially. I think he gave me $50 up front. And at first we drove up and down Van Buren, had absolutely no luck. He'd let out the window and holler at girls, and whatever he was doing, he wasn't doing it right, because they would walk away. and then he picked up I don't know, he picked up some newspaper. There were all these different newspapers back then. Now everything's online, and the place for the longest time was Backpage.com, but I know that doesn't exist anymore. There was some big criminal thing with that, but anyway, he called some call girl or something on the back of some free paper and got a pretty nice hotel. I forget exactly where it was, but somewhere in the area of around Central and Camelback. But got us a pretty nice hotel room. Called this escort. Said he's going to share her with me. That sounds fun. Figure as long as I got condoms, I'm good. Whatever. And she eventually came in. Got mostly naked. It was a hell of a show. And then, yeah, dudes started getting super creepy. And maybe I was the one who seemed creepy. I don't know. I was just really shy and quiet because it was kind of a awkward situation for me. But I was in for the ride, And then she. I forget exactly what happened. At one point, she said she was going to get something. And then the dude left. And I'm waiting for him to come back. Now, mind you, he paid for the room. It was all in his name. I think he said I was there with him, but I don't know. Not worried about it. If push comes to shove, hey, I'm just the cab driver. I'm waiting until he's ready to go. Because bottom line is, I'm just a cab driver. I'm waiting until he's ready to go. And a lot of street people action tonight. This is quality people watching here. I should do this shit more often, but with better cameras. Anyway, he Anyway, this big buff guy with a handgun comes in. It's super awkward because, I mean, I'm laying in bed with no pants on. But, and he asked me where the guy went. I said, I guess, like, he was the escort's bodyguard, I guess. And I don't know what conversation went on between him and what additional stuff went on between him and the guy who called for the cab. But he came in and just like, he asked about the guy, and I was like, I don't know. He walked out. What's going on? He goes, you're okay, dude. You're okay, dude. This really isn't your problem. I said, okay. I said, I didn't do nothing to nobody. He's like, no, you're all right. I'm looking for that guy. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm his cab driver, but I have no idea where he's at right now. He said he'd be back. And then he took off. And at that point, I kind of looked at the time, and I was just like, I think I put in as many hours as I said I was going to put in. I was kind of like you to put my pants on and leave. So yeah, some pretty crazy, interesting nights as a cab driver. And yeah, if that's the kind of transportation services that you need, if that's the kind of taxi service that you need, I don't see how Waymo would accommodate that. I really don't. But I bet somebody's going to try to do it. I mean, not go up into a hotel with a self-driving car, but I mean, I'm sure it's going to be somebody who's going to try to score dope from a street dealer. Somebody's going to get in and try and pick up a hooker. I did see a couple while I was hanging out over there at 27th and Luke. I did see a Lyft drive by. Like, I saw the little purple light in the windshield that was a Lyft. So I don't know if maybe it was the Lyft driver themselves looking for some action, or if the Lyft driver was driving a person looking for some action. I don't know. It wasn't in the car. But it's certainly one of those things that made me go, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Oh, yeah, certainly not the same thing, even with, a typical Uber driver. But yeah, I don't see how that could be a thing at all, with the Waymo self-driving taxi service. Which, by the way, I still haven't been able to use yet. I did get the links to reset my Google password, and I didn't follow them, and I would imagine they've probably expired by now. Which is shitty, because when it says the link will show up in 6 hours, I don't need the link in 6 hours. In 6 hours, I'm going to be too busy to deal with this shit. I need the link now. Because then I got that link right then, I'd have probably taken care of it, But by the time I got the link, I was at work. And then it's just been the last thing on my mind. In fact, I really didn't think of it again until right now. Well, maybe I should go home and try to deal with that stuff. I don't know. I should be home and try to be productive. I mean, I guess I could work on my music. I could work on cleaning my horrifically messy apartment. I could work on my Discogs. There's many things I could do at home. It's just the loneliness at home is so sharp that it cuts like a knife right now. And that's one thing I really miss about being a cab driver with a weekly lease cab. Is any time I could just hop in the cab and go work, and it would be an adventure. And even if business was dead, I could sit and people watch at a spot like this, and like at least I wasn't some dude in a random car, like I had a legit reason to be there. I'm a cab driver waiting for a call. But guys walking on the left are looking me over hard. Kind of wish I'd have leaned out and said hi to that one hooker, the last one that walked by. Holy shit, she was so gorgeous. Oh, well, hey, I'm going to wrap this up right now. I already got a pop-up message on this phone telling me that I'm low on power and that I'm headed to wanting to do Super Saver mode, which is worthless. Super Saver mode just makes the phone not functional. But it always asks me when it gets down to a certain percentage if I want to do that. And unfortunately, the USB-C cable that I have in the car right now it only reaches that far. It doesn't quite make it to the phone. And y'all know how worthless the camera is on my iPhone. So hey, thanks for wasting another 30 minutes of a night, of my lonely night with me. And I'll be back with more. I don't really know what I'm doing to keep myself occupied till the sun comes up, until I'm able to get to sleep again. I go to work at 7 p.m. tonight, but